Tashi Delek, everybody. Welcome Sunday morning meditation. Nice to see faces that I know, and we have some visitors as well, which are always welcome. Before we start, a couple announcements. I'm Kat Hedrick, one of the volunteers here. And real quick, don't be shy. Who's here for the first time? I know some of you, I met you in the lobby. It's okay, raise your hands. Look around, you're not alone. And remember, everyone who didn't raise their hand, that's who you get to ask the questions for afterwards, okay? So anyway, but let's do the announcements first. If you haven't already silenced your cell phones, please do so at this time and put your phones away so that you can be fully present for the talk and meditation. If you must use your phone, please do so outside the meditation hall. Now, we'd like to invite you to join us for our weekly Tuesday events with Medicine Buddha practice at 6 p.m. and our public talk at 7 p.m. This week, our Tuesday evening talk, Geshe Pendala will continue speaking on the 37 practices of a bodhisattva. On Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m., the Drepung Loseling monks conduct evening prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama's long life and other teachers. On Thursdays at 4:30 p.m., the Loseling monks conduct the Protector Puja for smooth journeys, successive interviews, medical treatments, new businesses, etc. Our popular 5-class foundation series continues April 11th with the 4 immeasurables: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. This one-day retreat via Zoom focuses on the 4 immeasurables, which cultivated to extend towards sentient beings with a mind free of bias. This series is a prerequisite for the intermediate series and some retreats. We are thrilled to announce the upcoming book release of Engaged Compassion by our founder and spiritual director, Geshe Lobsang Tenzi Negi, PhD, releasing on May 12th. On Sunday, May 11th, Geshe-la will lead our 11 a.m. meditation, where you are right now, and host a book signing afterwards. Pre-orders are available now through all major booksellers. Pre-ordering is a wonderful way to support the launch of this meaningful work. There's more information on it in the lobby. As a reminder, please do not park on the grass along the driveway or behind this building. If the lot is full, overflow parking can be found via Skyline Drive at the John Lewis Elementary School outside of school operating hours. Only access the school parking via Skyland Drive and walk through to our site. Information on all the events can be found in the lobby and on our website at drepung.org. If anyone is interested in volunteering opportunities to get more involved in supporting our center and programs, please see me or our volunteer coordinator or any of us in the lobby with name tags. If you are interested in becoming a member to support our ongoing programs and to take advantages of benefits like discounts on courses and retreats, applications are available in the library. You can also register online. There is a donation box near the entrance of this room. Your generous support helps us to continue to offer programs and services like this to our Atlanta community and to those around the world through our online platforms. Now, as our custom, please stand as we invite our teacher, Geshe Pendala, to come in for today's practice.
So today we'll meditate on self-compassion and compassion to others, both kind of meditation. So the reason the both compassion meditation is so in order to feel sincerely compassion to other beings, specific the people, kind of you don't like them, or some troublemakers, right? So it's hard to feel compassion to them. So if you have experience on self-compassion, then that same logic you use to others, and it's much easier to feel compassion to them. That's why the self-compassion meditation also helps to feel compassion to others. So that is why in order to generate compassion to others, self-compassion first, it's important. So all of these compassion meditation, the main, our target, it's nothing else outside there, right? Our target of the self-compassion is our own self-centered attitude. That's our main target. So reason is this self-centered attitude is the one of the main causes of your anger, hatred, jealousy, arrogance, or attachments, greeds, all kind of mental afflictions which we have. So each of these mental afflictions, it's really destroying your own peace of your mind, your dignities, your actions, your relationships, your friendships, or your what you call fame and reputations. Everything's destroyed by one's own negative thoughts and emotions. It is made difficult to understand your mental afflictions are the causes of your sufferings. Majority people, we think, our suffering is because of others, societies, or my neighbors, or my co-workers. We always pointing outside there. That's the majority, we're thinking that. So we put our all effort to fight to outside there in order to live happy life, which means we need to fight to somebody else. So that's the common concept. Everybody believes, even animals believe that way, right? Even the animals doing this. You can see within the animals' realms, they fight each other always. In order to live yourself, to survive, you have to be tough. You have to be fight to something. That's kind of concept. It's for the short temper, short sighing, maybe short seeing people, maybe that looks like that way. But this is just for short temporary. But if you look much deeper level, use your own human intelligence, look much deeper behind there, what is the main causes? When you really research, then you may understanding the long term, the deeper level of the troublemaker is within you, your mental afflictions. But it's not easy to understand. That is why majority people have not concern about your mental afflictions, not worry, We do not have any fears, worries, concern to our own negative thoughts, emotions. We don't have that. That is why negative thoughts, negative emotions, mental afflictions become so much what you call the familiar with everybody. Looks like this is our daily useful kind of mind. We're always using that. Because of that, majority human beings who live in this planet have not really happy life. They always have certain issues, problems. We seeing the problem is only external things, but each individual's inside the mind, they're holding so much burdens of the pain. Sometimes even the family members don't see these things for decades and decades. We don't see. And because of that, not understanding properly other sufferings. So we're trying so much, but somehow it didn't work. It didn't work. As an individual level, as a family, there's so much drama. As a society, there's so much problem. Even go to the work, there's so much issues there. When you look carefully, each of those human beings who live in this planet, the deep of their heart, all of them seeking happy life, peaceful life, no doubt, right? Everybody, looking yourself, you also want to always be happy, peace, right? Whatever the lifestyle you choose, it's for sake of happiness, no doubt. But yourself, in your family, society, you can see there's so much problems, so much. Even our materials, technologies are growing very fast, high developed it compared with 50, 100 years ago, right? It's very highly developed it. But the human problem is still not yet solved it. We have still so much, the problem we have to, deal with that. So that you should understanding where they're really coming from, why there's so much problem. And most of those problems to the world which we have is created by ourselves. Human being, we create it. Right? It's not come from aliens or somebody outside there. Ourselves created. And everybody, they do not want this problem. They want to live happy. In your job, whoever works in your office, everybody wants to live happy in peace, right? But they all have problems. Problems come from themselves. They're making these problems. Family issues, family members themselves, right? It's not somebody else from your neighbors. It's themselves. But they do not want that. They do not want it, but they're making this. What's the mistake? Why they're doing these things? That's how you need to research that. Then you will find it out. There's something deep of your heart, certain type of the emotion, certain type of the mind. These emotions, when they're aware, when they become active, they change that person's way of their seeing, way of their thinking, way of their actions. Everything turns into negative. And that's how they're creating problems, right? When they're not become a drunk, very nice person, after a drunk, they completely change, right? It's behave, where they talk, everything's changed. There's chemical, change that person's actions. As soon as when they change that behavior, whole member in your family started sufferings, right? When one family member in your family, when they behave change into negative, then it can affect the whole members suffer, right? That's how it ended. And that person, he or she also do not want that suffering. They also don't want that. Then they act that. Why they act? Because of the drunk, right? Similarly, when they become too much angry, too much jealous, too much greed, too much arrogant, right? Too much this destructive emotion, that person's behavior change, action change. That's why themselves suffer and all the family members, society suffer. And the big thing's the war, right? Everybody suffer now. That's how it is. So these seeds coming from where, right? They all want to live happy, then where they're coming from? These destructive emotions, mental afflictions. So how dangerous these negative emotions are. It's really ruins everything, everything's. Even as an individual person, you put so much effort. When you are very young time, you put so much effort to education. Go to school, study, pay so much money, right, to educate it for decades and decades, right? So eventually you become very talented, very smart, or what you call very high educated, and then find the good jobs, right? Then slowly you own the house, you own a little car or whatever things, slowly you own more. So you have to be more happier, right? But it's not going that way. It's getting more worry, more stress, more feel anxiety, more depression. Same time, the mental, the burdens of the pain is also growing more. So what's the mistake? Why this is coming that way? So when you really research it, it's very clear these destructive emotions are the one who created these issues, the problems, behaves. Sometimes the person itself, their education, their experience, everything's very good because of the short temper, right? That one emotion, just one emotion, ruined their life. Being a very short temper, eventually they ended up with the loneliness. Their family slowly disappeared. They go far away. They do not want to talk. They do not want to, it's because there's too much trouble, right? That's why they stay back. Then you ended up loneliness. That's the number of people like that way. So knowing these issues, the problem, there's no reason to point somebody else. Rather point inside there within your mind. There's certain type of enemy, the poisons, who are hidden there, hiding in your mind. And you don't see these things. Your enemy is with you. You are fighting and worry there's somebody there who's going to disturb me, going to take over me, but going to do something to me with so much scare, fear, worry, so much to looking out. But actually it's in there, these inner enemies. And these inner enemies, nobody can stop. Doesn't matter how many security you put it around there. Yeah, you can protect by hundreds of people with heavy weapons. They cannot stop your anger. They cannot stop your ego. They cannot stop your jealousy. So each of these emotion arises. As soon as when this emotion arises, it disturbs your mind. It creates your fear, worry, constantly disturbing your minds. So that is why understanding Your distracted emotions are the main causes of your problems, sufferings. If you're able to remain your mind without this distracted emotion for one day, just try one day, you can see that one day really peaceful life. Even you lose your job or your divorce or whatever, if you're able to keep your mind without this distracted emotion, mentally, it's not that much disturbs you. When your mind is really calm, stable, peace, external, even their big problem, will not that much affect you. You can still remain happy life. When your mind is fully disturbed, then externally even you gain so much. It doesn't matter. You are not happy that. You are not happy. You constantly remain with fear, worry, all kinds of issues. That's why this mental pain, mental suffering is much worse than physical problems. If you just research these things by yourself, it's not expensive. Everybody's the victim of mental issues. Everybody. So you can research that. One day, for instance, I give you one example. If you buy the one fancy car, right? You got it. You may be very happy in that night. Middle of the night, somebody steal your car, right? Your car is not there. It's gone. But you still very happy, sleep, no problem. Till morning when you wake up, then you realizing your car is gone. Then start your problem now. Suffering will start it. After you know. Actually, problem is already there, middle of the night. They already started problem. But you don't feel. You still remain happy. You lost the car, yes, you lost the car, but you still live very happy. Till morning when you know that, then it started. That showing the mind is the one bringing all of this. Then what level of the pain you be experience depend on what level of attachment you have to this car. If you have so much attached, then when you lost that car, next morning it may be really painful, really bothers you. If you have little attached, little pain. If you do not have any attached to them, even their loss, no problem. Mentally, not that much disturbs you. So that very clear. Really the pain you've been experiencing is caused by whom? Caused by your attachment, your anger, your jealousy. These each of emotions are the one who disturbs your mind. So if this is the case, now second thing is, in order to live happy, that's our goal, right? What I need to do, I need to really control these emotions. I need to discipline. I need to suppress them. I need to reduce them. Then finally, I need to eliminate them, completely eliminate them. So if you are free from attachment, if you are free from anger, then when you live the same life, you live it, very different feelings. If you do not have any angry to your co-workers, then morning, then one co-worker says something blah blah to you, some kind of negative words they take to talk, whatever they use. If you really sincerely not feel any angry, whatever he say, it's really not that much disturb you. It's nothing. But if you have too much ego, too much anger, even they just say little things, right? Just small things tell you something. It really hurts you, right? It really disturbs you. So that's who's doing this. We think my co-worker is the one who creating problem. Actually not. It's your anger is the one. So that is why in this 21st century, we should now be more aware our inner world, emotion, mind, not only external things, right? Since we've been so much care about our external world, make sure you have this, you have that, you have that. That's how we put so much effort. Ended up, our problem still not solved it. Lots of issues, right? Why? Because we completely ignore our inner world. We don't care. We didn't put any effort to there. So now, through your own experience, I really need to change something. Something I can work with my mind. How much I put effort to my physical material, same that kind of effort, right? Concern, I should start now to my mind, inner world. Then, after a few years, you can check it. You test yourself. How much it changed your life? In your life, your family life, you can see huge change. When your negative emotions are really changing, reducing, if they reduce, your life will definitely change. For instance, within your family, if you remain with your family without anger, right, for one day, for 1 week, right, 1 week, 2 weeks, try it, just without anger. How much happy, how much harmony, all these families. But that doesn't mean you don't have any problems. There is so many issues around here, there, all of these problems. That's why you marry with this guy or that person to work together to solve the problems, right? So, solving problem doesn't mean I have to be angry and I have to be fight it, right? That doesn't mean these things. So therefore, knowing that and try to manage your emotion, and day by day be aware, be mindful, manage your emotion and external problem to solve. Solving problem without anger. Try that type of lifestyle. You should try it. You can see your families completely will change. Really big change. So that is why, therefore, to manage your emotion, your destructive emotion, you have to be aware that first. You have to feel, understanding disadvantages of your destructive emotion, right? Completely understand the knowledge you have to have. Understanding the disadvantages of your destructive emotion, what is going to help you? It helps you to feel concern to your destructive emotions. Feel concern. Before, you do not have any concern. You do not have any worry. Now, through understanding the disadvantages of your mental affliction, that knowledge helps you to feel concern to your destructive emotion. When you have concern, when you have worry about your destructive emotion, what they're going to do? It helps you to feel, wish to change that destructive emotion, wish to free from this kind of destructive emotion, right? That's called self-compassion, right? Wish to free your destructive emotion. When you have desire to change your mental affliction, then eventually you put effort to change your negative emotions. Finally, your mental affliction, you have to change. Nobody will change for you, right? That's clear. Your anger, you are the person can change, nobody. And that's very, very important to know that, right? Doesn't matter how talent around there, nobody will take out your anger, right? It's absolutely self-responsibility. Like education. In order to become an educated person, you have to study. Doesn't matter your family study, your friends study, your children study, doesn't matter, right? You have to study in order to become yourself educated person. It's the mental thing is very different. It's absolutely self-responsibility. So through understanding on that, then when you know, oh, these disadvantages of your destructive emotion, that tremendous helps you always feel wish to change, wish to stop, right? Wish to suppress each of these mental afflictions which you have. Then upon there, wish to change those bad behavior which are the result of those mental afflictions, right? So that type of desire, self-compassion. Then when you have this, then you look into the other people, troublemakers, for instance, right? They also same like me. They want to live happy and peace. They behave all those violent, all this mistake, wrong action because of mental affliction. Too much anger, too much ego, too much arrogance, too much jealousy, or too much attachment, greed. They definitely have certain type of destructive emotion. That's why they act. Use your own experience, right? If you don't feel angry, you will not going to shout it, right? You will not going to show scary, wrathful face to other people. Why? They want to show ugly face, right? They want to show beautiful face. So showing this, because each of these destructive emotion, when they arises, you cannot control it. This emotion taking over you, then showing this wrathful face. Same like when the people drunk, then they're falling, sleeping, middle of the streets, and they can fall down into dirty water wherever, right? Everywhere. So do they really want to do that? Of course not, right? That's chemical. They have no control. They're taking over. So they ended up this way. Similarly, the other beings, whatever the bad behavior or these things, these are also come from their destructive emotions. When you're really seeing that way, then there is a chance to feel compassion to them. There's a chance, right? Otherwise, it's very difficult. Then final point is, either you're angry to this guy, hate to this guy, either you feel compassion to this guy. For that guy, it doesn't matter. It's not going to be affected. You hate, you are angry, you can say all kind of things. It is not going to affect to this person. They do whatever they're doing, right? They're doing this. But for you, it really hurts you, really disturbs you when you feel really angry, hatred, right? It really disturbs your happiness, your peace. For if you feel compassion to them, same for them, doesn't matter. But for you, huge differences. It brings you very calm, very peaceful, right? Very stable-minded. So if you are really smart, you want to live calm, happy, or you want to disturb your mind, right? You want to hurt yourself. If you want to hurt yourself, then you can feel angry to them, right? It can hurt you. If you want to live really happy and peace, then why not? You feel compassion, huge benefit to you, right? It's your hand, what you want it. It's nothing else there. It's in your hand. So, but many people choose anger, hatred. Why? Because of they don't understanding the disadvantages of this anger. They do not understanding the advantages of love, compassion. So not knowing that much about your emotion, people wrong choice. They choose the wrong. That's why they ended up suffer, right? So therefore, through understanding on these, issues or these instructions, then now I really, really need to do something, change myself, be more smart, inner world, not only external world. Sometimes you are very smart in the external world, but the inner world completely, ignorance, not knowing. Result of that, externally, you can wear very fancy dress, you can have, good reputation, fame, power, all kind of things. But the internal being, always sad, always fear, always worry, always depressed, stressed, all kind of pain. That's how they ended up this life, right? Therefore, through those reasons, one of the best things is to cultivate self-compassion and compassion to others through your own experience. These kind of the pure, these kind of exercise really start to change your life. Something much, much, much peaceful, happy life. Not only internal life, your external behavior, way of your thinking, your seeing the world, it's completely changed. Most of the time we're seeing everything is bad, wild, and all kind of things, and ended up with too much fear, too much anger, getting worse and worse, right? That's we see. Why? That's we look. So where you look it this way, you can see this way. You look in a different way, you can see different way. So which way you should look, it's in your hand. So right? So finally, your happiness is in your hand. When you really understand your emotion, your mind, how they're functioning, how it's work, how it's important. When you all this understanding, you never feel hopeless. You never feel tired. Not only that, you always have different idea, different way of seeing the world, different way of feeling, right? And different way of your lifestyle. And that kind of lifestyle, you can help to your children, your family. Then through that, your societies, right? That's how you benefit. So therefore, we're doing this kind of meditation, self and compassion, and meditation compassion to others for these reasons, right? So now actual meditation, I'm going to guide it. So most of you been before, a number of those Sunday we already done. So I'm not to need to explain each of this. So now I'm going to start the guiding the meditation, right? So therefore, during this meditation, one of the most important part is any, like a emotion, destructive emotion, bad behavior, whatever instruction comes there, you not apply to the other people, right? Or anger means, yes, my boss is very angry. Oh, my blah blah is very angry person. If you see that way, then this meditation will definitely not help you. You are not qualified to do the self-compassion meditation, which means not helps you. It's nothing to do with others. Others, their responsibility, right? What you can able to do, you can control your emotion, right? That's why when each of these anger, bad behavior, when we say, just apply to yourself, right? Then through that, learn, be aware. Through that you generate, I really need to change this. So wish to change them, right? That's how we need to cultivate self-compassion and compassion to others. Okay, now we're going to start the meditation. So the first, keep your physical body, general, keep your body very relaxed, comfortable. Just the spine or the backbone should be straight, but the rest of the body remain really relaxed and calm. And then first, when you hear the sound of the sinking bowl, your mind should fully concentrate on that sound. After sound completely disappeared, and just for a few seconds keep your mind like empty, means like a space, not engaged to any external objects. Okay, when the sound disappears, just for a few seconds, keep your mind like a space, not to engage to any external objects. Now slowly focus on your breath. When you inhale, you should be fully aware you are inhaling. Same when you exhale. Inhaling with a mindful and exhaling with a mindful. So keep your mind relaxed, calm, just aware your breath, present moment of your breath. Make sure you are fully concentrate on your breath. Slowly, when your mind is calmed down, now you should look in your own mind and recognize if you have depressions, any stress or fears, loneliness, anxiety, so any mental sufferings or pains you have, just recognize them. Some of those pains be there for a very long time. Some of those mental pains maybe temporarily comes and goes, but just recognize them. Don't hide them. Don't ignore. Be aware each of those mental pains you have. And these mental pains coming from where? Why are you experiencing these mental sufferings? Question. Of course, there's external conditions, job, family, other people, this situation, that situations. But all of these are just as a conditions. But the root causes of the inner pain you have is your anger. So recognize how often you feel anger, hatred, resentment when you are in home, when you're in job, when you see, when you hear something, jealousies, attachments, and we have so many attachments, attached to family, attached to properties, materials, positions, powers, reputations, money, fames, all kinds of, so there's so many attachments, greed, arrogance. So through that, all these mental afflictions, and one of the root is self-centered, selfish mind. So look, all these destructive emotions, the mental afflictions which you have, so these are the root causes. It's very deep there. Because of this mental affliction, it's not only mental pain and suffering you have, also it changes your behavior. How often you use harsh word, screaming to the people, criticizing them, accusing them, fighting to them, showing wrathful, scary face, lying them, all kind of violent or negative behavior. Don't look to other people, just look yourself and be aware of all this wrong action, the behavior, negative habits you've been doing in the past. Because of these wrong negative actions, how much is destroyer your dignities, your values, your relationship, your friendship, all kind of problems. And because of that, how much it creates your mental. Feel sad, feel guilty, feel loneliness, all these sufferings. But all these pains and suffering you have are changeable. So you don't need to feel hopeless. How bad it is, how heavy pains and suffering, all of these are changeable. So you should encourage yourself and you build that hope. And it is absolutely self-responsibility. You have to do. take sense of self-responsibility. Through that, you should generate strong desire from deep of your heart, wish to change all these mental afflictions, negative thoughts, emotions you have, all your bad behavior and habits, and through that all mental sufferings you have, wish to free from them. So it's not just think, not just visualize. Make sure from your heart, I will going to change them. I will going to reduce them. Finally, I will going to completely eliminate them. So meditate on self-compassion, wish to free from all the sufferings you have and the causes of sufferings, which are all your negative emotions, mental afflictions, negative actions and behavior and habits. Wish to change them, wish to completely stop them. And not just only think or visualize, you should also feel from your heart. Definitely, I will going to change them, reduce them, finally completely eliminate them. When you really feel that self-compassion, wish to free from all your suffering, specific the causes of sufferings, which are your negative emotions and negative actions and behave, and just hold that. Just try to remain with that wish. Out of that wish, so all your negative thoughts, emotions which you have right now, specific all these mental pains and sufferings, and all your bad behavior and habits you have, visualize them as a form of smoke in your heart, or manifest as a form of smoke in your heart. Then when you exhale, you release these smokes with your breath. Out of self-compassion, take a deep breath and release them. Out of self-compassion, take a deep breath and release them. Once again, out of self-compassion, take a deep breath and release them. Let them go. Finally, you should visualize all those pains, destructive emotions which you have are completely purified. Now your minds remain very pure without any negative thoughts. And feel that calmness of this mind. Now you should visualize yourself as a leader, and at your right side, visualize your friends or family you feel really close, each of them sitting beside your right. Front of you, the people you really don't like them, people you hate them, those are the people sitting in front of you. And your left is called the neutral beings, which means you know them, either your co-worker, neighbors, but you do not have close or distant relationship, maybe around 5 to 10 people at your left. And rest of entire beings, they surrounded you. Now first you should look each and all of them, either your friends or either your enemies. They are absolute like you. They want to live happy, peace. Each of them do not want sufferings. So their fundamental nature is really pure, just wants to live happy, peace. Just look from that perspective to everybody, right, left, front of your enemy, entire beings. So they are same like you, the victim of these destructive emotions, living under the influence of all these mental affliction, destructive emotions. They make wrong decision. That's why all these problems. But each of them, deep of their heart, is just same like you, wants to live happy in peace. Just look from that perspective. Upon there, the others really helps you so much. The food you eat, all this beautiful dress you wear, the road where you're driving, the electricity you every day using, your educations you have right now, your talent, everything comes from others. Not just one person, not just your families. Even the one piece of cookies, there are hundreds of people put the effort, from farmers, for the people who work in the factories, people who deliver, so many. So somehow, directly, indirectly, you receive so much benefit from all of them. Just look from that perspective. And through that you should feel appreciated to them. Feel gratitude toward each of them, including your enemies. Through that you should generate the mind of endearment, which means how much you feel dear to your family members, exactly that same kind of sense of close, sense of dear to all of them, seeing each and all of them as lovable. So you touch your heart to all of them, including your enemies. So meditate on mind of endearment to all of them. Cherish to them. Feel dear to all of them. So all of those dear sentient beings who are exactly like you, wants to live happy, peace, do not want sufferings, but unfortunately, because of living under the influence of that same destructive emotions which you have, anger, hatred, jealousy, arrogance, attachments, greed, selfish, all kind of those mental disease. That is why all of them have stress, depressions, fear, worry constantly. Then they behave violent actions, using harsh words, fighting, lying to the people, all kind of negative actions they acted, and the result of that, they all, not even mental problem, also physical sufferings, suffering of war, how much people they suffer, suffering of loneliness, suffering of feel guilt, then stress, depressions, fear, worry, all kind of sufferings. Just think about all this suffering to everybody's very rich, very famous, to very poor people. Everybody have their own issues. Individual have problem, as a family, problems they have. Society have, big nations they have. So think about all this suffering to all of them. And through that you should generate compassion, which means I wish each and all of them be free from sufferings and their causes of sufferings, which are their mental afflictions, their negative actions and behave. So meditate on great compassion to all of them, including the people you don't like them. Not just think, not just visualize. From your heart, you make sure you really feel it. Wish each and all of them free from suffering and causes of sufferings. Keep your mind calm, relax, and just feel, I wish everybody, including my enemies, free from suffering and causes of sufferings. So when you really feel it, just hold that feeling. Means just remain with feeling of compassion to all. Feel equal to everybody, either your friends, either your enemies, doesn't matter. You should feel exactly the same to all of them. Wish each and all of them be free from suffering and causes of sufferings. powerful compassion you have right now should visualize or manifest the compassion in the form of smoke in your heart. So when you exhale, you should release the smokes with your breath. When the breath comes, smokes come out from your nose, it goes through 10 directions and it pervades to all over the universe through 10 directions. And every being, when they inhale, they take those smokes with their breath. When the smokes go into their body, you visualize they purify all the physical, mental, emotional pains they have, suffering they have, and the causes of suffering, which are the destructive emotions, mental afflictions, or the negative action, and so forth. Out of compassion feeling to every being, take a deep breath and release them. Take a deep breath and release them. Once again, take a deep breath and release them. Should visualize entire beings when they take these smokes, they completely purify their suffering and causes of sufferings. Remain very peace. Now you should rejoice. Just feel that joy. Okay, so this is a very brief, simple meditation on self-compassion and compassion to others. So this kind of meditation, if you really try to do in daily, and that will really helps to manage your emotions. Even before you have too much emotion person, but slowly, you can change, can start that change, and eventually, you can control it. Eventually, when this emotion arises, with not that much reaction, and you can see these emotions, but you not react it. Eventually, slowly, it will melt it down, comes and goes, without that much, effect to your physical behaves. So that will slowly change that way. Then finally, then you can fully kind of manage. Even there's too much trouble here, there, but you can still remain very calm. You really suppress these destructive emotions. Destructive emotion, when you welcome, when you use it, it becomes worse and worse. Some people thinking, emotions come, let them go. But it's getting worse and worse. So when they're small, when they're coming, you need to first manage that. Then they will not going to take over. So when you stay distant longer, eventually these emotions getting weaker and weaker. Otherwise, if you use too much every day, then they become so powerful. Then you become very powerless. That will fully controls you, take over you. So that's why this meditation may helps to dealing with each of these destructive emotion. So then day-to-day life, that's always you need to know. In the Buddhist we used to call samsara, right? Samsara means suffering of cycle existence. We all are born into samsara, right? Mundane life. We are not in heaven, right? If you are in heaven, then when you encounter with a problem, you can feel something shock. Why this problem? Why that problem? This is heaven. Everything should be nice, right? But you are not in the heaven, right? We are in samsara, mundane life. They always have problems. We're born into that way. When you're born into these kind of realms, they always have these problems. So you already expect, when you drive, people will disagree you, people will do funny things here, there. That's how we're born there, right? That kind of realms. So when you expect it, when you encounter with these issues, will not that much bothers you. You already expect it. If everything should be nice, everything should be very good, then when you encounter with a problem, it's a big, huge shock, makes you really angry. So sometimes your mind, you have to keep low expectation. It's much better to encounter or to deal with your destructive emotions. So these are so much things you have to keep your mind already prepared. So it gives you much easier to discipline one's mind. So then finally, the purpose of these meditations are actually, to something start to change one's own behavior from negative to positive, and then from your mind, negative mind to positive mind. That's the main purpose. So therefore, as a compassion meditator, we really focus to change something in your mind from negative to more positive sides, right? Then your behaves, when you're too much angry person, right? Okay, maybe less and less. If you every day maybe 10 times become angry, maybe then less 7 times, right? 5 times, less, less, less. When you're angry, you're really shouting very loud volumes, or maybe at least I cannot stop shout, but I can change the tone, maybe a little bit lighter or smaller. That's how the change starts. You cannot change today shouting, tomorrow no shouting. That's impossible. That's small things, but need to something change. So when the change started, then you continuously do this meditation, be mindful, start that. Today I really change little things. Tomorrow I will try it again. That's how constantly. Then eventually, completely change. So that's the purpose of this meditation. Okay, thank you.